Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another crazy comic book prices video. I said I'd get around to doing this again. So I have some books here to talk about that I've noticed that the prices are a little, well, I guess it's all relative what you think is crazy or not, but I think they're kind of crazy, and I added a couple games to it. So let's get started with this one right here. Marvel Premiere number 15, the first appearance of Iron Fist. Now, is this a crazy price? No, well, no. Compared to X-Men number 1 and Daredevil number 1, the increase in those books over the last few months. No, of course not. But I think that, you know, like what the price, the actual prices and grades, 7.0, $700, and we have this one right here. You know, this book a couple of years ago, maybe even over a year ago, in 7.0, 8.5, we're only going for maybe a couple $100. So to go from that price point to $650, $700, looks like it's climbing. It's starting to, people are starting to pay attention to these some of these Bronze Age Marvel characters, other than Punisher, other than Wolverine. Like I was talking about, like with Luke Cage, and people are really paying attention to Ghost Rider, obviously. We already know about Moon Knight and Blade. So, but these other characters like Luke Cage and right here with Iron Fist are starting to get a little bit more attention. And I think it's worth taking a note, because I think they are going to introduce Iron Fist in some capacity in the MCU, if everything in the MCU when it comes to the movies continues to be successful. So let's take a look at a game, the first game. Now, I chose this next game because it's something that you could probably still find on the shelves. I mean, you're going to have to really search, but you can still find on the shelves. So here we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan for the PlayStation 4. They also is out for Xbox One. This game is regularly selling for around $70 to $80. Now, why is that is that a crazy price? No, it's not a crazy price considering some of the other games or the next game I'm going to show you. But I think it's a dramatic increase, because you could get this game a couple months ago, early in the year. This is April 2021. You could get this game probably in January, December 2020 for about $10. And to go from $10 to regularly selling for $70 to $80, I think that's one hell of a jump. And I think that's a little crazy. I mean, not crazy if you like it and you want to buy it, but, you know, just crazy how the price just jumps. And that's what I mean for all these different things. X-Men number 1, I've talked about that over and over again, how much of a price jump that was. It's a crazy price jump. But for people that really, really want it and keep buying it, you know, hey, that's entirely up to you what you like. But yeah, I thought adding this one on this video was a good idea, because I think you could still find it. Yeah, hell, you could probably go to Walmart. Now, not everywhere, but you might be able to find it brand new for, you know, under $20. These things have been known to happen, because this has recently started to disappear off the shelves. But that doesn't mean that somewhere like in a Target or in a Walmart or even in a GameStop, you still won't be able to find it for less, much less than what it's going for right now. So that was the first game. Now we're going to get to the next book. Here we have Silver Surfer 4. I think this book has been on the rise for about a good year, a little more. I purchased this book a couple of years ago. I have a 7.5, maybe an 8.0. I paid like, what, $150 for it. Now look at what it's going for. What are some of the prices down here? A restored 7.5 recently sold for $900. Remember I talked about restored prices, how seems to be an increase, or at least from what I see. Just because I see it doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what's going on. But from what I see, it seems like there's been more of an interest in some of these restored books for probably numerous reasons. People that can't afford a regular 7.5 or regular copy, blue label copy in some of these books. Some of these people buying them because they think they can have the restoration removed, whatever. But there has been somewhat of an increase, or at least what I can see. And here's another one. Now again, the two books I've showed so far in this video, they're not like the dramatic ones that are now over $10,000. We know what those are. I mean, I did a video where we showed Amazing Fantasy, how that started to spike, but we always knew that Amazing Fantasy was a pricey book. But it's just, to me, and I made this point clear before I get to the next book, I've made this point in another video, that spending this kind of money, those prices to me when I first came back in the hobby a few years ago, they were reserved for really important titles. Not that to say that, if you're a fan of Iron Fist, it's not an important title. Not to say that Silver Surfer 4 is not an important book, because it certainly is with its memorable cover. But for me to sit back and say, okay, would I spend $700 or $600 on this? I'd probably say, hell no. I mean, I would reserve that for another book that's really, in my view, important. Back then, a 5.0 X-Men number 4, That's now, forget it, 5.0 X-Men number 4. You're going to wish to pay $700 for that. But it goes to show, that's why I call it crazy, how much of a dramatic increase. And I think a dramatic change in attitude when it comes to some of these books, or at least paying for them. Next book is Amazing Spider-Man 50. Now this book again was always a sought-out book. Great cover, even though I'm not a Romita fan. But a great cover, memorable cover, and the first appearance of the Kingpin. And you could say what you want. People, oh yeah, they're specking on the Kingpin. That is going to be in the MCU. Fine, whatever. But again, a year ago I upgraded my Kingpin. I have a 5.5. And I paid way under what that recent sale is. Now, granted, when you look at a lot of these recent sales, some of the prices are all over the place. But the fact to see that price, which was almost over $1,000, if I'm not mistaken, these 5.5s to 6.5s are regularly going anywhere between $800 and $1,200. That's a big increase from what a 5.5, 4.0, 6.0, what they were going for a year and a half ago. So to me, that's a crazy jump. I'm going to show the last game for this video before I get to the last book. So let's start with that one right now. Tales of Destiny 2. Now this was always a pricey game. About a year and a half ago, this game regularly sold for complete, regularly sold anywhere between $150 to $175. Now, as you can see in the listing, it's regularly selling for over $320. I mean, that's one hell of an increase. And I can't say that, people are just starting to realize. People have always realized that this is a rare game and a pretty good game. I have it. But just across the board, a lot of games like Tales of Destiny 2, including Tales of Destiny and other games that were regularly selling for about $150 to $175 are now the norm, going for $350 to $450. And I say this because if you're one of the lucky ones to have it, great, and you want to sell it and make some money for whatever. Or if you stumble across it in the wild, which I don't know if you're going to do that, but you never know. It's worth taking a look at. But it's just another example of some of these games, how everything across the board when it comes to collectibles like cards, comics, and games are just shooting for the stars. And the last book for this video, I think a crazy price. Here we go. Strange Tales 110, the first appearance of Doctor Strange. Some may argue that Strange Tales 110 has been undervalued for a long time. Well, maybe not. Like I said, there's an argument out there for that. But 1.0 selling for that? That's crazy. That's crazy. I picked up my copy. I told you the story how I got mine. But it's amazing. I never would have thought. Like the point I was trying to make with the Iron Fist and some of the other books, I never would have thought that book, Strange Tales 110, that low grade would sell for that much, or in the range of that price, because they sell for all these different prices, but they relatively stay in that range. I never would have thought that. It's just really amazing. That kind of money, again, would have been reserved for something like an X-Men #1, or maybe Tales of Suspense 39. Even though those books were a little bit more than what this sold for years ago, you would be well on your way to getting yourself a copy, a low-grade copy, albeit. Now, obviously that's changed, but now for this book to be selling for that much and that low grade, it truly is a crazy price. Thank you all for watching. If you got some comments, put them in. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think about some of the other the books I talked about, the games, and some other books that are out there that are just selling for crazy prices. Thank you for watching, everyone. Be safe and take care.